What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. So, first fight I want to talk about is Deontay Wilder versus Robert Helenius. Wilder did what he was supposed to do. He had no business being in there with Robert Helenius all night long. I told you guys he should beat this guy and he should beat him quickly. This was no Super Bowl. This was no elite battle of the elite fighters. For whatever reason, there was people that was thinking that this was going to be a competitive fight. Yo, Helenius is going to shock the world. Everybody's going to see a different Helenius. Helenius doesn't get his credit, blah, blah, blah. And, we've seen great fighters get disposed of by other great fighters quick. We've seen that happen, yes. But Robert Helenius has done nothing to be in a title eliminator. This was a fight that was designed for Deontay Wilder to come back and look spectacular against. So the commentator can yell out exactly what I told you he was going to yell out. The same thing they always yell out when a fighter of an elite status loses and comes back. Deontay Wilder is back. Simple. Robert Helenius, I guess he's a likable guy. His personality, his character. And so for that reason, he does come to fight. But, who has he fought? The biggest win on his resume, well, if you go from back in the day, would be Derek Chisora. He lost to Dillian White. He's not the same fighter anyway as he used to be. Like I said, he's a journeyman. And the biggest name that he has on his resume in recent times is Adam Kalnowski. So the fact that he was on a 3-fight winning streak, okay, there's other guys that should have been in a title eliminator. This is not my idea of a title eliminator. For you to be in a title eliminator, you need to be worthy. What has Helenius done to even be in the ring in a title eliminator fight with anyone? So just based on that alone, I told you guys it's not even about this fight. It's what Deontay does after. Meaning, does he fight Joe Joyce? Does he fight Andy Ruiz? I think he'll go with the Andy Ruiz fight because that fight is probably easier to make because they're both with the PBC. But at the end of the day, on the competitive side of things, I would rather see him fight Joyce. But still in all, Ruiz is better than fighting a Robert Helenius. Now, those type of knockouts, if you're doing it against the elite guys, it doesn't matter. Yeah, your limited skills are still the same. You're still the same fighter. Deontay Wilder himself said he's not a different fighter. The stuff that you see him doing training, that's just for fun. And yeah, because that stuff that you guys call footwork and hitting foam sticks and hopping up and down for 15 seconds, you guys think that makes him a different fighter. And I told you, over and over, you don't see him do this stuff in a fight. And everybody that looks and says he looks awkward and weird, yeah, that's just not what Wilder does in the ring. When you're fighting against an opponent, it's not the same. It's just training. He and Helenius have sparred before. Helenius said that Layman Brewster hits harder than Wilder. And Layman Brewster could crack, and with both hands. But what you guys got to remember, and okay, if you do know this, if you don't know it, studies have shown for years it takes 6 ounces of pressure to knock a man out. Now, everybody doesn't have the same punch resistance, okay? But I always tell you guys, if you catch a guy right, you can get him out of there. A punch that you don't see can do it. And you'll end up like, what the hell happened? I remember I've seen guys spar. I've seen guys fight and go down and like, what the hell just happened? They didn't even know they got hit. They thought they tripped. So he did what he was supposed to. Now, with this fight being out of the way, like I said, it's all about what he does next and who he does it against. And from here, we don't want to see, I never wanted to see this fight anyway. So we don't want to see another Helenius type caliber fighter versus Wilder or any of these top guys. We need to see these top guys get in there and fight. Nobody's getting any younger, and I don't understand how these guys are even okay with sitting back and just letting so much valuable time go by. For fights that could have been made years ago and it wasn't, well, either they're going to do it or they're not going to do it. But when it comes to quality fights, when it comes to the fights that we want to see, if these fights are not going to happen and it's going to be a lot of the same thing that's just been going on, what's the purpose of title eliminators? Like, what is the purpose? So we'll see how things go from here. But again, and let me address something that someone said before I even stop this video. This is where I tell you hypocrites, okay? You need to watch your mouths and understand that you sound stupid when you say certain things. For example, why is it if Joshua gets buzzed or any other fighter gets hit and get buzzed, even if they don't go down, we've seen Devin Haney get buzzed in a fight, right? Seen Tank get hit and got a little, you guys call him chinny. But when Wilder knocks out a journeyman, oh my God, this guy got sick, insane power. I've never seen anything like that. This guy. So basically, Wilder has Thor's hammer in his right hand, basically. And any other fighter gets hit by another guy that can punch, they're chinny. Where was that Thor's hammer against Fury, right? And this is not a dig at Wilder. I'm listening to you guys and what I'm saying. Where was that same Thor's hammer against Fury? Because if his power was the way you guys exaggerate, Fury wouldn't have got up. He was just as hurt when he got dropped by Steve Cunningham as he was when he got dropped by Wilder. Okay, so the whole point of what I'm telling you guys, all of this favoritism talk, and this is what I don't do. This was not a fight I was interested in, and I told you guys I'll only give you guys the boxing news on it, but I'm not going to really be into this fight. And to see what happened, I wasn't shocked at all. He did what he was supposed to do. And I don't see the purpose of him trying to go in there and try to play and dance on his toes and do shit that he's not capable of doing just to try to say what? See, I can fight a journeyman and do some stupid shit, because he didn't need to do that. And I told you guys, even when he fought Fury, he made a grave mistake by trying to gain so much weight. Now, I don't care what weight he was at. Fury still wins as far as I'm concerned. But I said if he was going to put weight on, it should have been on his legs, not his upper body. The weight's not going to make him punch harder. It's not going to make him faster. Okay, if anything, it's going to slow him down. And then two, if you're lighter on your feet, you can move a little quicker. Had nothing to do with his legs because it was all upper body. But you can throw your punches faster. And that's what he needs. See, the problem is this: when you can punch, a lot of times you focus on power. But it's the speed of the punch. Okay? People don't see the shot coming. Boom, what happened? You're out, right? Or you're down. So this is what, when I said I don't understand. Okay, and to bulk up against a guy that he said had pillows for fists, which I told you guys, I don't care what they say, it's what they do in the ring. So what he did against Helenius last night, he was supposed to do. So now it's either Ruiz or it's Joyce. Joyce, we don't know what's going to happen with Usyk. We don't know as far as any other fighter that's out there. I mean, if you're not going to fight any one of those guys, at least fight a Frank Sanchez. At least fight a Frank Sanchez. This is what title eliminators are set up for. Now that you fought a title eliminator, you need to fight a guy who's in position like a Ruiz or like a Joe Joyce, and at least a guy like Frank Sanchez. He's not well known, but we know the guy can fight. You fight someone like him. Now you beat him, you get a lot of credit because Frank Sanchez can fight. He can box. So this is the type of things I'm saying. I'd much rather see him in there against Frank Sanchez versus a Robert Helenius. This is the difference. When you call yourself an elite fighter, when you are a champion, you fight the very best fighters there. You do not have people make it sound like they talk about, but he just had a tough fight. You make it sound like these guys fight every night or every week. No, you guys of elite status need to fight elite fighters. We know that there's keep busy fights. If you can't get the fight that you want, things do happen. People get injured. Certain things is just the timetables are not right for you and for this fighter. I wouldn't want a guy to not be 100% and rush into a fight and not beat him because he's not ready. I wouldn't. I couldn't. I couldn't enjoy that. So pretty much, this is where elite guys need to understand that. All this A-side stuff, I get it and all that, but whatever. But the point is, you're doing a disservice to you, to the sport, and to the fans when these things continue to happen. So, like I said, it's all about what happens next. This was a fight that was, okay, let's bring Wilder back against somebody he can look good against. That's all this was. Okay? You ask yourself, how the hell did Robert Helenius end up in the title eliminator? Oh, because he's on a 3-fight winning streak. Yeah, after he got knocked out by Gerald Washington. Frank Sanchez ain't been knocked out by nobody. Joe Joyce ain't been beat by none of these guys as a pro. So this is the type of stuff I'm saying. We know Joe Joyce just fought not too long ago himself, but just saying. So it's about what happens now. And Wilder did what he was supposed to do. That being said, with all this talk about Helenius being a tough fight and this guy can really fight, they know each other's styles. And like I said, that would be the best thing that may be able to come out of this is because they know each other's styles. If Robert Helenius even has a chance. I told you guys what happened last night is what was supposed to happen. And I told you guys that a lot of times when you say something about a situation of a fight, well, fanboys feel some kind of way and feel like you're attacking that person, which of course we don't care. But that's what they take it as instead of the actual truth in what we're saying. So now that he got Helenius out the way, let me know in the comment section. Oh, and before I say that, now let me say this. You see what he did against Helenius? You see what Joe Joyce just did last month against Joseph Parker? And a lot of people was like, nah, I think he'll beat Wilder. That dude is, right? Now, when Wilder does this, and people keep hearing terms like, he has sick, insane, unreal power, and blah, blah, blah. Now that's going to make people go, oh, no. If he hit Joyce with that, it wasn't even that hard of a shot. He just caught him right, and Helenius didn't see it coming. So now this causes speculation. Can Joe Joyce take that right hand? Right? So now, this can cause and create buildup. Now imagine how you'd feel if we start to hear Joe Joyce and Deontay Wilder are in negotiations, but then all of a sudden, it doesn't happen. Wilder winds up fighting some cherry pick, or Joe Joyce ends up in a fight with a cherry pick that we don't care. Then what? It's like, here we go again. So what was the purpose of the Robert Helenius fight? And people will forget and overlook the fact Helenius never belonged in the ring with him in the first place. They'll forget that. And what will happen? Oh, well, if you really look at it, well, Helenius, he did what? Absolutely nothing. So, like I said, Wilder did what he was supposed to do. But tell me in the comment section who you'd rather see him fight, Andy Ruiz or Joe Joyce. I pretty much know in my heart Joe Joyce is a better, tougher opponent than Andy Ruiz. In fact, if Wilder doesn't fight either one of them, which he should, the least is somebody like Frank Sanchez. And I'll say the least because I think Frank Sanchez will beat Andy Ruiz, most definitely. I don't know with Joe Joyce, maybe not. I don't know. It depends if he can stand up to that pressure. I don't know. If he have the gas tank to outbox him. Yeah. If that doesn't happen, true. If we don't get Wilder versus one of these guys, they should have Joe Joyce and Ruiz end up fighting each other. Let one of them eliminate the other. And then we can finally get down to, okay, now he's been eliminated. Now this guy versus this guy. There's no reason for these fights to not happen. And especially when you look at the fact Wilder has losses, Ruiz has losses, AJ has losses, so all of this trying to make fights and trying to make them happen to where people want to be greedy or want to overprice themselves or whatever, all that nonsense. Just make the fights happen. Wilder is saying he wants to fight AJ, but he only wants to fight him in Africa. So if the fight happens, we'll see. Anthony Joshua's plans on getting back on track, I think he need to follow what he was going to do to get himself back right and not be thrown into the hype of trying to prove something too soon, because he basically needs to refine his skills. He needs that confidence built it back. Now, if he decides that he doesn't want to do that and he wants to go and fight whoever, so be it, man. And understand the difference is this guy's coming off of 2 losses. So on the mental side of things, watching what Wilder did, maybe he feels like, see, I need to do that. I got to get back to what I used to do. It's not about copying what Wilder did or what no other fighter did. It's about you being able to go in the ring and display your skill set the way that you need to on a fight-by-fight basis. And pretty much, that being said, if he does what he does, he wins those 2 fights, like you said, and then they bring him back and he ends up fighting Dillian and then possibly Wilder after that, which is pretty much what their plans were. And they had already been reaching out, making offers to Deontay Wilder. So this is why when Wilder is even saying his dream, his number 1 fight is against AJ, because that's who everybody keep bringing up everywhere he go. Okay, then. So then there should be no problem making that fight happen. And that's whether it happens next or how it goes. Whatever these guys decide to do is on them. But in terms of the fights that they should be in or the fights that we want to see, it's going to come down to them wanting to fight each other. Simple. Let me know in the comment section, who would y'all rather see Deontay Wilder fight? Joe Joyce or Andy Ruiz? Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people. And I will catch y'all in the next video.